People often draw the distinction between the ways in which you are disabled organically, i.e., you can't move your hands and legs, and the ways in which you are disabled by virtue of social conditions, i.e., you can't get into the public library. Medicine is looking at what to do about moving your arms and legs. But policy determines whether buildings are accessible, whether supplemental insurance is available to people who need it because they can't function in professional settings, whether schools have accommodations for deaf people and provide interpreters. And there's often a conflict in which people who've got a disability feel that lobbying for more accommodation also results in more stigma. So how can we provide the accommodation that people need without suggesting that they're suffering from a terrible illness? The idea that people with disabilities ought to receive opportunities at employment was a completely radical idea 30 years ago. And it remains a startling idea for many people. Someone has recently set up a company in which he seeks to employ people with autism who have skills that people without autism lack, because he believes that you can harness those skills and that those people can be hired not only as an accommodation and because it's nice to be kind to disabled people, but in fact because there are jobs they can do better and there are advantages to having them there working for you. It represents a whole different way of thinking about the usefulness of people who've got various disabilities, but it reflects a different policy on how one is going to think about people who are different in some way. There are more and more jobs for people, for example, with Down syndrome. There are attempts now to set up a system in which there are protected rights for people who are transgender, even in the context in which gay rights have been secured. By and large, there are exceptions for people who behave in what are considered gender inappropriate ways. So you can still essentially be fired for being transgender almost anywhere in the United States. There's an attempt to secure all of these protections for people. On the one hand, social activism is what leads to changes in policy. But on the other hand, changes in policy really alter the social environment. And if there isn't a close collaboration back and forth between activist idealism and policy pragmatism, then there won't ever be meaningful change in the lives of the people in question.